So, what's going on, guys? Today we are talking about my least favorite thing ever, which is cancel culture. Man, so I don't even know where to start with this one, to be honest. This is like a loaded topic for me, so I'm really glad that one of y'all asked me to make a video on this because I think cancel culture is the most bullshit thing that's ever existed. First of all, has anyone noticed that no one's actually getting canceled anymore? Like, it worked for like 2018, maybe. And then, like, after that, just nobody cares. So it's crazy that, like, this whole concept of cancel culture is still like very much an active part of the social media, like the fabric of social media, because literally nobody cares anymore. Like, it's crazy. And not only that, but I feel like part of it just has to do with the fact that like people can now formulate their own opinions about things because there's just like so much being spread around on the internet in terms of like there's more like evidence coming to light. Like, I'll give you the perfect example. So um this whole Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion situation, by the way, Megan Thee Stallion, just, I hate her so much. Like, I don't want to make this a hate video because it's supposed to be a positive community, but I'm gonna explain why. Literally, guys, she switches her story every other day. It's crazy. And like when she first came out and said that like everything was like what was going on in terms of like, oh, like I got shot, blah blah blah. I'm like you have to understand, bro. Tori didn't say anything at all. Like, at all. He didn't say anything about it because he like, A, you can't really say anything if you're like in an active case because of the fact that it's an investigation, right? So it's not like you can just say, "Oh, I didn't do it because of this, and that." Blah, blah. Like, and you have to keep in mind, like at the time he was signed, so like he has a team that's telling him like, "Oh no, like you can't say this, or like you can't do this, or you shouldn't do this," and everybody was just like, "Yo, like f Tory Lanez, f this guy, well he's the biggest sucker ever," and like he's probably gonna end up being innocent, and it's gonna be proven that like this whole thing was just some like crazy monstrosity of like a conspiracy. And I want people to keep that same energy with Megan, because it's like I get that we should protect people at all costs, and I understand why people were on her side because she seemed very distraught and all that, but my thing is, you have to be open to the possibilities of a situation. Just because somebody says something, especially with celebrities, bro, because they're all about image. So a lot of the times, if they need to save their image, they will. And honestly, I don't blame them because again, this is like what they have to do. Like, this is their livelihood, having a good reputation and like being able to be promotable, like to get ad revenue, all that stuff. But it's like people tried to cancel him. Like, they were like, people were like, yeah, we should totally deport Tory Lanez, and like this guy sucks and he's the worst person ever. He should be buried under the prison. And then he came out with this album just talking about everything. And but I'm personally, I'm keeping that same energy. I'm just like, I'm taking in what he's saying, and I gotta be honest, he's saying a lot more like intelligent things than she is. Like, what he's saying coherently makes a lot more sense to people who do their research than like the simple things she's saying, like, "Oh, he's crazy. This guy's crazy." What kind of defense? Imagine if somebody. Okay, so imagine you're like talking to somebody, right? And you guys both look up at the sky, right? And you see the sun. And then one person goes, "Oh yeah, look, there's the sun. It's like yellow." And the other person goes, "Oh no, the sun's like purple." And then you're just like, "Well, no, like based on science and based on like what you can visually see and what the majority of people see, that's like a yellow sun." And then that other person's response to the sun was purple. It's like, "Oh man, you're crazy." Now, granted, he could be colorblind, you know? So maybe the sun is purple to that person. I don't know how that works, by the way. So I don't know if that I just made a completely incorrect statement about science. I'm not really a scientist, so apologies if I just like offended any colorblind people. But like you have to understand that it's just like so that's such a weak that's like a weak person's rebuttal right there. Like me and my friend Robert talk about this all the time where it's like there's certain debate points and arguments that you can make where you just know that that person has no idea what they're talking about or that person is just trying to overcompensate for the fact that they just like don't know what's going on with themselves or they don't know what's going on in the situation. Like they use filler arguments. That's a good term for it actually. It's like a filler argument. Just like, "Oh man, you're crazy." First of all, the man is giving legitimate evidence and showing documents of why he's not crazy. You just going, he's crazy? Like, I'm just, I don't like to bask in people's downfalls, but I'm so glad that so many people are like calling her out for her bullshit. Cause it's just like, the fact that she is like so controlled by her label that she's literally slandering someone who she was like supposedly in her I don't even think it was supposedly. I think they were in a relationship with and she's just like totally okay with that. It's just crazy. And again, I'm not saying like I was there and I know for sure that she's lying and like there's probably some weird like middle to it that we don't know. But what I'm saying is based on what we're being given, it's like I don't really see how people could be on her side except for the fact of like, oh yeah, no, like, you know, she's like in crisis and like we need to be there for her. It's like that I get. Then you're a good person if you feel like that. But I just don't like to go at people either way without like getting enough evidence to make a fair judgment. You feel me? And she didn't really give like enough evidence for me to be like, okay, yeah, no, Tory shot her, like he's an asshole. Like, I'm not gonna listen to him anymore. No, that's just like not. That's not what happened. So it's like you can't expect me to just agree with you because you're famous and because you put out like two good songs, one of which was like completely overplayed and shouldn't have won Song of the Year. By the way, I'm not happy about the AMAs. All those award shows are just going down the tubes. But that's a topic for a different video. Basically, what I'm trying to say is not only is cancel culture not effective anymore, it's also just a terrible thing to do to somebody. Like, canceling somebody from like life, basically, it's like, why would you do that? Like, why would you be in support of that? I understand like some people do such heinous things that even I can be like, okay, I understand why we don't want to like talk about this person anymore. Like, I didn't watch the whole like Epstein documentary or whatever because I'm not really into that stuff. I don't like watching all that negative junk, but that guy understands. Like cancel him. Like he did some really messed up stuff from what I understand and the people who've watched it and like what they've explained to me. But like for the majority of people, it's like if they make one mistake, it's like you can't just be like, "Oh, take their like whatever, take their business away, take their life away, take their career away." Throw them in a trash can, just like kick them down a hill. It's like, "Come on. They're people. They're literally people. They're not different from you except for the fact that they've become successful through their own like hard work and a little bit of luck ultimately. It's like treat them like people because they probably have such a hard time dealing with all this criticism that they face and all of these judgments passed when they're like still learning just as we are. Like think about that, bro. Celebrities and all these people, they're so young now. That's like they're growing up the same way we are, but in such like tougher circumstances because they're constantly being shown everywhere. The spotlight's always on them. If they make a mistake, TMZ is somehow there every single time with the footage, and like people's lives get ruined, bro. And I hate it because like people have like taken their lives over stuff like this, and it's gross. Like the whole cancel culture thing needs to stop. Like rather than canceling somebody, let's like have a discussion with them and try to get them to understand our like point of view. Like the whole thing for any sports fans that are watching this, the whole thing with the Drew Brees, the comments that he made about players kneeling for the national flag. I think that was the best thing that's been handled this year because he was talked to by his teammates Then he understood and apologized. That's how it should be. If someone says something out of line, let's talk to them as people and figure out like what like what they're saying, or like why they think the way that they think. Let's explain our point of views and let's try to come to an understanding. It's not always going to happen, but let's at least like attempt to bridge these gaps that we formed between each other, you know? So, yeah, I mean, cancel culture needs to be canceled. If we really want to cancel something, we got to stop cancel culture, cuz it's probably one of the most divisive things in our country right now, and it's just unhealthy. It's pure toxicity, cancel culture. And I really feel like the people who mainly participate in it are just very like angry people, which is understandable cuz like especially now there's some tough times going on, but we need to find other ways to express ourselves and express our feelings and express them in ways that don't harm or aren't a detriment to our fellow man. You know, like let's support each other rather than try to tear each other down and like cancel each other. Let's try to help each other understand and grow as people. Like this is such generic stuff that I'm saying, but like it's not being put into practice. So I'm just going to continue to say it until I start seeing some actual change, cuz I'm so tired of this bullshit. Like I really am. Like let's help each other rather than like compete with one another and try to tear each other down. Let's actually bring each other up to the top and like it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. But anyway, before I have like a stroke, I think I'm gonna end this video there. But I appreciate all of you who are taking the time to watch. Um, Also, sorry that this channel has been so hard to find. I'm kind of still learning all of this technological stuff, because for those of you who know me, I'm not like ignorant when it comes to technology. I'm not super proficient, so I'm kind of just asking my good friends and my collaborators how I should go about doing these things. Thankfully my friend Andrew was able to point me in the right direction with the link tree. He also has a YouTube channel, by the way, so I'm gonna link his channel as well as my channel in my link tree. So definitely check him out. Super inspirational guy, super great guy. Probably one of the best guys I met in my first semester at college. Really, he'll push you to really just be the best person you can possibly be. So yeah, that's gonna be it for now. Tomorrow I'll come at you guys with another video. Hopefully it'll be an interesting lesson for y'all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.